without making that jump you wanted, how do you go into this offseason perhaps looking at things differently?
Well, I'm looking at them differently, but I still feel like we made a jump. I still feel we have identified what we can be. I mean, I was asked today in the press conference, what gives you pause to feel good about it? Well, I think the way the defense played, in spite of the players that weren't available to us in the last 5-6 weeks, I think that shows that the things that we're doing are good things, and they're going to help us going forward. I like the way our skill positions have stepped up. I think our receiving corps is solid and could be comparable to those in the other teams in the league, led by Terry and Curtis and Jahan. I like the development potential of our tight end group. It's a good young group of guys led by Logan. I like our running back situation. We just got to get them healthy and keep them healthy. I like that. I think we have to look at some of the things that we do on the offensive line and which guys we've got to add to help solidify that. And then as a whole, we've got to answer the one question. It was a question I was asked at the beginning of the year. What's the difference? Well, the difference being the quarterback position. We have to answer that question again.
Injuries suck, and they're a part of life in the NFL. Does any of what has happened this year make you rethink how you built the roster?
No, it's just depth. You run out of depth. That's what happens eventually. When corners get hurt, you start getting to your depth, and you start having to use your depth. Safeties get hurt. Young guys, when we played a lot of young guys, but that's good for growth. If you can be successful playing young guys, you got to sit there and say, wow, we are growing the right way. And when you have to, find just how deep you can go. Now, we've gone pretty deep the last couple of years with our offensive line, just because that's what happens when you sustain injuries. And that's all part of the process that we'll go through. Good things will happen and bad things will happen. But again, it will come down to, hey, are we coaching them up? Are we teaching them? Are we giving them a chance to be successful? I get that part of it. I do. And we'll see.
With a formula that has shown it can work,
yep.
But with a formula that leads to relatively narrow victories
yep.
most of the time, and then the depth concerns hit, and then that formula gets skewed, does that make you think, all right, maybe we got to recalculate the formula?
Not necessarily, just because if you can sustain the depth, if you can keep the right kind of guys around, and you can stay healthy, relative healthy, or be able to just replenish it, you can sustain it. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens. I mean, at the end of the year, the team that's usually at the top, teams that are usually, top 2, 3, 4, are the guys that have the least injuries. Go ahead and chart that. I promise you that's what's going to come up.
How much does the formula change if you get a Cam Newton, or you get a quarterback that is a consensus top 10, top 8 guy in the league?
Oh, most certainly it changes. I mean, you have to utilize their talents, and again, like I said, I was asked the question, what's the difference? Well, look at how these quarterbacks are doing. Guys that have been with their teams, been around their teams, been integrated with their players around them. I mean, they have their success because they're there, they're familiar, they understand, they get it. Not everybody's Tom Brady that you can plug in somewhere else and see the success.